what is Murdered Soul Suspect?
Murdered Soul Suspect is an investigation adventure game that's coming out in 2014, and it's about solving your own murder. So you're a ghost, and you actually have to use your ghost powers to go throughout the town of Salem and chase this guy down. So you have a limited range of abilities, but as he finds out, they're actually pretty powerful, and you can do some really cool stuff with it. So.
Can you tell me at all about the genesis of this idea? Like, if you guys are brainstorming, how did this first appear in your minds?
Yeah. So our creative director is Yosuke Shiokawa, and he's with Square Enix Japan, and this was his idea. And he actually got it watching Die Hard, of all things, and thought, well, what if the main character lived or died, and he had to, continue his, to fight for his family, and. So they kind of went down that line of reasoning and, came to Square and pitched the idea, and they found us to make it. So it's come a long way, obviously since that, but that core idea of being a ghost, and having to solve, a mystery is a really compelling one.
So what were some of your inspirations for this game? I mean, I see a lot of Heavy Rain in a way, not in terms of mechanics, but in terms of just kind of feel. What else is in there?
Yeah, we looked at a lot of investigation games to try and suss out, what's interesting from them. LA Noire, is one, and we're interested in games that use that focus on story first, right? This game is all about the narrative and using the gameplay mechanics to enhance that and enhance and deepen the experience. So that's really where the core the development philosophy, for the gameplay here came from.
So did you guys do any research into like stories about ghosts to come up with the abilities that the character had?
I'm not as familiar with that aspect of the development because I came in a little bit later. But I mean, the answer is yes. I mean, they looked into lots of ghost stories, lots of ghost lore. One interesting challenge on this project has actually been, since our creative director is Japanese, differences between Eastern and Western philosophy on the afterlife and what being a ghost really means. And so it's been really interesting to see kind of where some of those differences lay. And but I think we've arrived at a set of fiction that really makes sense and is going to resonate with a lot of people.
This story has the potential to be extremely dark. How do you balance that? Making something that is for as large an audience as possible while still being gritty and harsh.
Yeah, it does have that potential to kind of slide into the macabre and the dark, and our writers are very cognizant of that, and it's amazing what you can do with just lightening the moment. Like sometimes you'll have kind of a witty, banter going on, between the main character and somebody else, and just kind of that release, gives it that breathing room, that you need to tell the story and not just have it, be hitting you hard the whole time with this really dark theme.
So I must ask, how did Airtight's other properties prepare you for this one?
This is actually my first game with Airtight.
Okay.
But this is, they've worked in the Unreal Engine before, and, so we had a lot of technology going into it. And the game that we made before this, that this team made before this, was actually Dark Void. And Dark Void actually has a lot of storytelling in it, in addition to all the, jetpack and all that fun stuff. So we've been through a lot of the ropes in terms of making a third-person, player mechanic kind of stuff, and using that Unreal Engine to bring to life, a story. So they had kind of a running start on the technology side, so that was a good place for them to start with that.
Awesome. And this game's quite a bit different from Crimson Skies, I understand.
Yes, absolutely. This ghost isn't going to fly.
Right.
But yes, it definitely come a long way since Crimson Skies.